Had my mic on instead. Okay, so now that I've got the mic turned on, hello, pretty people. Sorry I was late. Went to get my coffee. When I opened the fridge for the can of milk, I realized, oh crap, I haven't put that pork loin in a marinade. So I threw together a quick marinade. Savory, which is summer savory, would be the easier way to find it if you're looking for it. That actually is an Old English herb that was used for flavoring before the discovery or the introduction of pepper to the old country. So I used spog, which is savory, spogs. Salt, pepper, onion, garlic. So salt, obviously a generous portion of salt. Pepper, fresh cracked. I have my own grinder. It's one of the few things I'm snobbish about. Onion powder and garlic powder. Yes, I did use garlic. No, I don't care what you think. It is extremely hard to get fresh garlic for a decent price here in Newfoundland, especially rural Newfoundland, and it's not that commonly used. I like something that has flavor on it. Speaking of, the more fluid portions of the marinade were ketchup, soy sauce, a little bit of hot sauce, Frank's Red Hot, some white vinegar, and a generous portion of, I won't say the brand name, but it is similar to Sea Spritz. And I use their cranberry Concord grape 100% juice mix. That's what you get from that then is a slightly sweet, very fragrant, because of the vinegar. But slightly sweet, very fragrant, somewhat savory, mildly salty. And of course I don't like to add too much salt to the prep phase because people like to be able to put salt on their own food, and that's fine. I generally don't use any extra, but hey, whatever. So yeah, follow me for more recipes. Also, for the record, when I say recipe, what I mean to say is, excuse me, I have to put my controller back on the charger to make sure it's actually ready for gaming later. I don't have a really long show today, so. When I say recipe, what I mean is I generally eyeball things. I have 2 pieces of pork tenderloin about the size of my hand. So that's about that much pork tenderloin. And put that into a, I'm a reduce, reuse, recycle kind of guy. Ironically, as bullshit as most of the climate crap is. But I use those plastic ice cream tubs. For example, currently my marinade is sitting on the counter, or my meat is sitting in marinade on the counter in a Smarties ice cream container. And when I'm done here today, I will be knocking off probably an hour earlier than I normally do to go cook dinner. So, but that will be... that'll be that. Okay, let's get this going and start where we normally start, which is with Thus Always to Dickheads. If you would like to support what I do, I'll let this little noise go by. If you would like to support what I do, you can head over to the Ko-Fi, fling me a few bucks. If you would like to support me without spending any money, you can like, share, chat, comment, follow, or subscribe depending on platform. If you choose to subscribe to me on Rumble, I can't stop you, the same way I can't stop you from sending super chats, but I would prefer that if you are going to send me chats or send me any monetary support, you do it through the Ko-Fi. Using Ko-Fi, you can actually leave a comment, and I will struggle to read that out. Generally, I don't get much during the day, so just opened my Ko-Fi here. I want to check my just making sure I can get notifications on my during my live stream, so I just have to check my settings here. There we are. Notifications. verified on X, verified on Twitch. I do have a Twitch channel. I hardly ever use it. And I'm verified on YouTube. Excellent. This is weird. Messages? No. Settings. Let's try that settings page. It doesn't seem to want to send me... How do I set up buttons and widgets, maybe? Ko-Fi button? No. Tip widget? No, I'm not looking for that thing. Those things, rather. I'm looking for some way to set up... Okay, let me try the help page. In any case, if you do decide to support me on a regular basis, and you want me to, I will put your name in the ticker alongside ZenRab7 and Simon JJ. Let's see. That's if you do it on a monthly basis. If you don't want me to put your name in the ticker, I'll consider you part of the Orangutan gang. One would think it would be relatively easy to have that set up. That is not the help page. Help page takes me to the Ko-Fi homepage. That is not particularly useful. I don't need widgets open either. Page is live. Yes, I'm aware of this. Ah, there's a button. Public support stats. Show the coffee counter. Don't really care. Show top supporters and leaderboard. That's for you guys. Set your page theme color. Well, I do like blaze orange. So that is set. Comments. Only supporters can comment. That seems fair. Direct message from anybody who supports me. Yes. Still can't find anything to set up. Okay, let's try asking our helpful AI. How do I set up desktop notifications for Ko-Fi? Or can I? To set up desktop notifications, you must enable them within your browser rather than through a native application setting, as Ko-Fi currently relies on browser-based alerts. Okay. Click the bell icon at the top of your page. Select Turn On for browser notifications. There's a bell. Ah, there it is. Yes. Oh. Okay. Ko-Fi is asking you, yes, I will... forever allow that, which is a rare thing for me to do. Okay, so if you send me a Ko-Fi, I will get, ideally, a helpful little notification there on my desktop, ideally. Okay, so we will close that particular window again, hope for the best with that, set up my tabs again. And today we have King of the Dickheads. Let's see. I think it's this one. Yes. A visibly shaken Hassan Piker says it is, quote, not great for me, unquote, that the feds are probing his foreign ties. Yeah. I'm kind of in agreement with many other people about this. I don't think anything really concrete will come of this. That said, it is nice to see this little piece of shit terrified. And we'll full screen that and enjoy this Mentalist getting the 6th Emperor he deserves.
Is not great. Okay? I mean, it's bullshit.
Of course it is.
But still not great that, you know, they're after your boy. They're up my ass. And I'll obviously get into it right now. I'll tell you all about it.
Sure you will.
Blast off real quick.
Uh-huh. Blast off, I assume, being some sort of shilling method to let people know he's actually live. Also, has anyone else noticed that it seems like the shoulder pads in his jacket are getting wider? Or maybe his head's just shrinking.
We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me.
Yeah, free Hassan. Yes, free him from the tyranny of living in Los Angeles in a fucking glorious mansion with his mother making chicken tendies for him whenever he asks. Fuck off.
Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
also, to quote Jeremy Hambley, my channel is under attack.
But I'm, you know.
You stutter more than Justin Trudeau, and you have all the dead air of Joe Biden's head.
I'm about to be seemingly made an example of.
Sure you are, Hassan. Keep on saying that. I do have to apologize. I have to step away for just a second. I'm doing laundry, and I forgot to change it over. I'll be right back. I will be nice enough and turn off my mic so you don't hear me fart when I get up. Sorry about that, folks. Housework waits for no man. Okay, so I did say Six Emperor Mentalis. Jay Bishop, you're still allowed to live in a white country? Hassan wants anti-whiteism, otherwise he has no ground but dust. Well, we have work to do, of course. He won't stop being anti-white and getting rich from it. What's your excuse? Go to nowhiteguilt.org, and I actually second that. Go to nowhiteguilt.org. It's worth looking into. Specifically the Go Free method. There needs to be an investigation to find out if anyone in the Democrat Party has ties to America. I love this. It was me. Tell Hassan it was me. And picture of Kaya dobbing him in. And yeah, I agree with end wokeness. So good. Let's see. I have zero sympathy for this commie traitor. He's been skating on thin ice long enough. Time to figure out where his loyalties lie. I wish people would just get along, Snoopy, says Charlie Brown. Communists aren't people, Charlie Brown, says Snoopy. That's a fair assessment. Okay, so for a little more background, I have this. From High King Feanor, who I thought I was following. The alpha chat of Middle-earth. Okay, buddy, have fun with that. Hi there, I'm the guy who posted the erroneous viral tweet. It is public knowledge exactly which hotel y'all stayed at, and it is as easy as a Google search. For the record, y'all has an apostrophe in it between the Y and the A. And it is as easy as a Google search to determine whether or not you guys were legally allowed to stay there. Oh, by the way, the only reason that tweet went viral is because of Hassan. Maybe tell your friend not to amplify the people who are exposing his stupidity. Yeah, the Streisand effect. So, High King Feanor says, by the way, Hassan just broke U.S. law. Oh, and he could face a $250,000 fine and up to 10 years in prison once he gets back to the States. The U.S. Department of State maintains a Cuba prohibited accommodations list, and I do believe this appears later. But, I'll just read through this really quickly. It's only short. Which bans American travelers from staying at or paying for over 400 government-owned hotels, guest houses, and resorts. For those of you who don't know, Cuba is a communist country, and that means the government owns pretty much everything. Most of the time, if you are a tourist in Cuba, being Canadian, I know people who have been to Cuba, and Generally, it is advised not to tip them with money, as, usually the Cuban government will take it from them, or at least a very significant portion of it, if not all of it. Now, Hassan responds to Feanor, "Yeah, the U.S. law is fucking stupid. I didn't break it, but this post is the only one that ironically acknowledges the comical U.S. restrictions on what U.S. citizens are allowed to do in Cuba. The, quote, 5-star hotel is one of the few hotels the U.S. government allows Americans to legally stay in." So he denies that he broke the law by staying somewhere the government sanctions. Feanor is pointing out, no, it's easily public knowledge to find where you stayed at. Knowing Hassan, he probably broadcasted it very thoroughly. Also, Ryan Grimm is tagged here. "This is amazing. According to public statements, it's believed that delegation members stayed at a hotel the U.S. State Department has put on a Cuba restricted list as businesses directly tied to the Communist government of Cuba, designated a state sponsor of terrorism." Nice. He should have spent the night at a Holiday Inn. Hassan Piker Jihadi. Okay. So he's getting persecuted for helping the sick and starving, despite his government. Yeah, that reminds me of someone. Oh, you think he went there out of charity? No. No, he didn't. Blowing it out of proportion. Yeah, if he was smart, he would have said nothing. International sanctions against a brutal dictator is comical, he said to the judge before sentencing. Yeah. Pin that X post. You may as well get full credit for doing a massive culture blow to the left lunatic loser's banger post. Yeah, I agree. These Hassan critics have no leg to stand on. Basically, they just hate human life. Says somebody who supports a fucking communist. Yeah, the communists who will delete every single person who disagrees with them until everyone agrees with them. Exactly the way they want them to. Which includes their own people who help them get to, power. Remember, liberals get the bullet too, dickheads. Speaking of dickheads, they actually come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and genders. No, I'm not kidding. This is amazing. Get this man a beer. Oh, that's not cool. What happened there? There we go. Yeah, someone buy this man a beer. Actually, I would say both men. The bald fella here and the bearded guy here. The ginger lad. This is precisely the kind of behavior that creates fatigue, let's say.
That's what you want me to do.
Why are you dismissing everybody else?
I'm just asking you to excuse me. Why is you sitting here arguing?
Why are you so special?
Because I'm trying to get to the front.
Yeah, we're all trying to get to the front. We all paid the same goddamn money.
Okay, but I'm saying, sir, I'm just telling you, excuse me, if you move.
Okay. Actually, I'll let this play.
Cool. And the door ain't open.
I'm just saying, though, it don't matter.
It don't matter either way.
I'm trying to get up to the front.
Yeah, we all are.
Everybody is.
Excuse me.
No, thank you.
She always like that? Oh, sorry, you don't know.
Also, I think this guy has a cat.
No, thankfully.
So if I just move you the fuck out of my way, then I'm assaulting.
Yeah.
So you won't move.
Why are you
I'm asking and say, excuse me.
And I'm saying no.
Okay.
I can say no. I don't have to say yes, do I?
You don't,
do I need to say yes?
Sir, I'm saying excuse me.
And I'm saying no,
and you
thank
just
you.
don't block my way.
Yeah.
So if I hit you,
You're
that's
assaulting
assaulting.
And you got 30 witnesses on you, man, with the red hair. You'll get arrested and then you will get a lifetime flight.
I do want to pause it here, just to show you the expression on her face. Her attitude is, who the fuck is this honky to talk to me? Yeah.
Man, you want that?
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I'm just saying excuse me.
What you're saying
Yeah, just because you say excuse me doesn't mean you get to just do as you please.
is you think that you are more special than everybody else on this goddamn fucking plane. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Okay, I'm going to play it again, and I'll pause it more.
That's what you want me to do.
Why are you dismissing
I'm just
everybody else?
asking you to excuse me.
Now, she's saying, I'm just asking you to excuse me. She's giving no other reason other than the fact that she simply wants to get past this guy to get to the front of the plane. The plane has just landed, everyone has stood up out of their seats, but according to the ginger bearded fella, the doors aren't even open yet. Okay, why do you want to be treated special?
Why is you sitting here arguing?
Why are you?
Now, I will point out something. This is assault. She is attempting to force her way past. This guy just kind of leans over and blocks her. She doesn't push the issue at that point. But then she says something very interesting.
You're so special.
Because I'm trying to get to the front.
Yeah, we're all trying to get to the
But
front.
I'm
We all
saying-
paid the same goddamn money.
Okay, but I'm saying, sir, I'm just telling you, excuse me, if you...
Just because you say excuse me, Shaniqua, doesn't mean you're going to get excused. It's not an absolute command. It's a request. When you request something of someone, they have the ability to say no.
Cool. And the door ain't open.
I'm just saying, though, it don't matter.
Don't matter.
It doesn't matter that the door isn't open. She wants to be first off the plane. She just wants to be ahead of the bald white guy. Or, more likely, everybody else.
I'm trying to get up to the front.
Yeah, we all are.
Everybody is.
Excuse me.
No, thank you.
She always...
Without offering any explanation as to why. Now, it's quite possible maybe she's claustrophobic, agoraphobic, sure. Or, she's having some sort of anxiety issue. If you then express that to someone and say, would you please excuse me because I can't handle being here right now, or I'm having an anxiety attack, or I'm having a phobia attack, or a phobic episode, sure. There is a greater possibility that someone who is kind-hearted will go, oh, yeah, okay, go ahead. But that is still a request, and you are still not guaranteed a pass.
Just like that. Oh, sorry, you don't know her.
No,
So if I
thankfully.
just move you the fuck out my way, then I'm assaulting.
Yeah.
So you won't move.
Why are you?
I'm
you
asking
wanna
if
go?
it's
And I'm
excuse me.
saying no.
Okay.
I can say no.
Now, the gentleman ahead of her did say, you're asking me to move. She says yes, and he says, then I'm going to say no. I can say no.
I don't have to say yes, do I?
Now again, as I showed earlier, she's trying to force the issue by slipping past the guy. There's not a lot of room on those planes, especially in those aisles, and she doesn't look particularly narrow, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to work out well for her.
You don't,
Do I need to say yes?
Sir, I'm saying excuse me.
And I'm saying no,
and you
thank
just
you.
don't block my way.
Yeah.
So if I hit you,
Then she threatens violence. It's an implied threat, but it's still a threat. Yeah. And God bless the rest of them. Everybody handles her very calmly, like you're dealing with a child. A child pitching a tantrum. Yeah. I Am Leah says, fuck yeah, someone buy this man a beer. Not just this guy. This fellow with the beard, too. For standing up. For saying something. The boy who wouldn't bow. I like that, yeah. What else have we got here? Ashamed of nothing, offended by everything, contributes. Entitled to? Yeah. 'Cause I says so, that's why. Yeah. Okay, this is a bit much. Why can't you just be normal? Unintelligible screaming. Stabs random person. Steals bike. Some stereotypes exist for a reason. I mean, there's a reason that one of the first things people learn in Dutch is, hey German, where's my bike? That comes from World War II. No. Not all of them, but somehow always one of them. Yeah. God, I thought this was some kind of burn victim mutant. It's crazy that these videos make their way online, and all the racists claim that this is all of us. But those of us that don't do this shit don't get filmed and posted online because we're not making asses of ourselves. Plenty of white people acting like this, by the way, too. Feel free to take those videos and post them online. If I find them and someone's being a dickhead, doesn't matter to me what color they are. They're still a dickhead. I wanted to buy that man a beer. The Art of Flag Waving says, why are we all in such a rush to be first in line? I'd stay seated until the last of the stamping wildebeests had left the plane before making my way out. Let them through, it's not a real issue. That's actually not a bad policy, is to let them all just get past you. And it's definitely an option. But you're not required to do it. And when someone else is attempting to, claim priority for no apparent reason, why would you allow them to do that? Aren't you fucking serious, man? Assholes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was the thing on Telegram I was going to show, and I don't have it. Oh, well. Okay. Yeah, that's it for Six Semper Mentalist today. So, moving on to our new favorite segment, which is also short. It's time for Face Japan. I do love that opener. Yeah, I just have the one story from Japan today. But it's a doozy, which could have been in good news as well. From Alpha Wolf, Crazy Unfilm 94. Sure. Japan's Justice Minister, Hiroshi Hiraguchi. Yeah, those names I can say because they start with H's. Also, Miyamoto Musashi. Hiroshi Hiraguchi, sorry I keep rolling the R and I do apologize if it's not supposed to be done, has taken a tough decision on the orders of Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. The plan to deport every illegal foreign resident living in Japan, titled the, quote, Zero Illegal Foreign Residence Plan, I will forever refer to it as ZIFR, has been officially signed. Now, no one will be able to live in Japan illegally. Well, that's a bit of a pipe dream, but it's definitely going to give greater power to eject people. Japan's Justice Minister announced the ZIFR plan in May of 2026 on the instructions of Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. The plan aims to deport every single illegal foreign resident from Japan. Based. What's the actual story? At the same time, they're massively increasing legal immigration. That's a problem. And accelerating naturalization, yeah. Illegal, not good enough. If you don't get rid of every one of them, they'll breed like roaches. It'll never stop. Your families have a couple of kids. Muslims have herds. It won't end well. Yeah, it might have something to do with the fact that they're polygamous. Multiple wives. Personally, it irks me to no end to discover that many Muslims come to Canada, claim a single wife, and then the other wives are considered family members. Somehow. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the clown show. I mean the comments section. And our first story is from Canada, oddly enough. From Blacklock's reporter, GAC Corporate, that's Global Affairs Canada, spent $32 million on iceberg-themed pavilion at Osaka World's Fair, even as our Prime Minister appealed for sacrifices, including a $164,000 survey that asked fairgoers, "What is your gender identity?" We just don't have money for this shit, not while we're laundering it overseas anyway. Freaking tiring. Yes. That's true, Kelly. Ken Norsworthy says, "We are the stupid woke joke that the world is laughing at unless they are involved in the corrupt theft of Canadian taxpayer money." Also true. Is this why Carney is asking Canadians to make sacrifices? Well, no. He also needs to pay people to invest in the Canada Strong National Sovereign Wealth Fund. Yeah. I mean, where do you think all the laundered money is going? It's coming back. It's just being used for other purposes. Money goes in circles. We need not wonder why the country is poverty-stricken. We live in la-la land. True. I was the biggest fiscal disaster in modern Canadian history. Hold my beer. Yeah, like that guy drinks any real amount of beer. Gender identity? You have a weird fixation. Yes. There's a reason for that, if you look into Mark Carney's family connections. Sorry, I had to turn the light down a bit. A nation of effeminate bureaucrats. Well, it's a nation run by effeminate bureaucrats, yes. The view of Canada as a nation of lumberjacks, capable, strong men, is long gone. Or should be, by this time. From Table Salt, a Canadian man has his dream of being a police officer crushed because of a ceremonial blade he wants to carry into the police interview. No, I'm not fucking joking.
Winnipeg man's dream of becoming a police officer has ended abruptly because of restrictions tied to a religious item he's required to wear.
My long-standing personal goal was to join police service because my grandfather and father were police officer back in India.
Why didn't you stay in India and become a police officer there and follow the family tradition?
Kirpan, the small sheathed dagger, is one of the 5 articles of faith that a Khalsa Sikh must wear at all times. Jaspal Singh Gill says he was told he wouldn't be allowed to write the exam unless he handed the kirpan over.
He's not allowed to carry a weapon into the police exam. He can walk into the grocery store with it, though.
In a statement to CTV News, a Winnipeg police spokesperson says in part, the individual
Okay, I'll let her finish,
was
actually.
offered secure storage options for the kirpan, but declined the accommodation. It also says the service welcomes applicants from diverse backgrounds and religious communities.
Yeah, sure. We'll skip that bullshit. Come back to Mr. Gill.
Infringed on its charter rights, pointing to a...
They infringed on his charter rights. My friend, the simple fact that you are carrying that weapon for the purpose of defending yourself contravenes the criminal code of Canada. The only reason you can do it is because you are given a religious exemption. I don't get that. The average Canadian Christian doesn't get that. The average Canadian Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, none of us get it. But you do. And the one time that you don't get it, you bitch. Rather than simply going, okay, I can accommodate the needs of the nation I wish to be a police officer in. I can follow those rules long enough to get this done. No.
Supreme Court of Canada decision, which says banning Sikhs from carrying kirpans violates freedom of religion.
Given that we have a Supreme Court precedent that was fairly clear, I think that, his odds are...
Freedom of religion should not trump the criminal code. That said, I have a slightly more nuanced take than that sounds.
Are probably quite good in a court process.
Singh wants an apology from police, and he also
fuck
isn't
off.
giving up on
You shouldn't get an apology for this. Table Salt says he won't get the job, and then he'll sue and get the job. Probably, but they didn't even let him sit the examination. He still has to pass the exam first. And I said, unfucking believable. One could point out that these people have a religious exemption to carry their weapons on the street that the average Canadian doesn't. One could also point out that there is no size minimum for a kirpan, so he could easily have carried something the size of a neck knife, or this. A neck knife has the added benefit of you can actually drop it down your shirt, which would have been acceptable in his religion. I know it would be acceptable because one of my friends when I was initially in college 30 years ago, and then some, was a Sikh, a Khalsa Sikh, who would wear a tiny little dagger as a pendant. And apparently that was perfectly acceptable. Yeah. Let's see. One could also point out that many Canadians feel these people shouldn't have these exemptions in the first place. Of course, in my case, I don't think it should require a religious exemption to carry a defensive item in this country. I should be no less free to defend myself than this man is. Tony says, you may mistakenly read this as sarcastic. It isn't. He's a Pierre Amritsar Polyev supporter. I'm not shocked. His dream ending abruptly can easily be redreamed in India. Again, if you are so dedicated to following the tradition and heritage of your family, go be an Indian police officer in India. Canadian man, yeah, that's a bit much. Yeah, he's not a Canadian man. Get it right, okay? Context is everything. I live in Canada. I'm Canadian. I live in China. I'm Chinese. Yeah. Pro-Japanese Sikh guard punishing British officer for failing to salute Changi, Singapore, 1942. Yep. Let's see. Wonderful. By this logic, we should all carry. Then Jesus asked them, when I sent you out without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything? No, they answered. He said to them, but now if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. For I tell you that this scripture must be fulfilled in me, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and indeed what is written about me is being fulfilled. The disciples said, See, Lord, here are 2 swords. That's enough, he replied. So Jesus is in favor of, just one second. God's sakes. I had to verify I'm not a bot. I swear I'm not. I'm real. I'm a real person. I'm not AI. AI would never be this ugly. So Jesus is apparently a fan of Niten Ichiryu, the two-sword school of Japanese swordsmanship. If carrying a ceremonial blade is more important than adapting to the standards of the institution you want to join, maybe you're not actually interested in integrating into that institution. Here's the problem. He's seen other Sikhs on the job wearing their turbans, probably carrying their kirpans, but they had to do something he wasn't willing to do for his religion. And that's fine. By all means, be faithful and true to your religion. But you're going to have to make an adaptation somewhere. Either you give it up, the kirpan, and take your exam, or you don't take the exam. There should be no apology request. There should be no accommodation. And apparently the police did try to reasonably accommodate him, and he wasn't interested, so tough. Nobody usurps the supremacy of God or the rule of law according to our Constitution. All armed forces swear allegiance to our head of state and commander-in-chief by the grace of God, King Charles III, defender of the faiths. Traitorous piece of shit. Who serves the King of Kings, Christ Jesus the Lord. No, that last part is wrong. Charles does not serve Jesus. So we do have a few points here. From the Canadian Constitution Act of 1892, Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. From Proverbs, when a leader pays attention to falsehood, all his ministers become wicked. The Constitution of Canada is the supreme law of Canada. Any law that is inconsistent with the conditions of the Constitution is of no force or effect. Have fun with that. The purpose of the Constitution is to restrict government, not the people. That's more the U.S. Yeah. Let's see. If it's truly ceremonial, then a plastic knife would suffice. You can't really use a plastic knife to defend yourself. Turbans in the RCMP. I did mention this earlier. This is an old story. This is April 94. Beginning in 1973, members of the RCMP, and I can't even read all that, so blurry. My long-standing personal goal was to join police service because my grandfather and father were police officers back in India. Then live the dream, man. Go be a police officer back in India. Right? No one is actually telling this guy they don't want him to be a cop. They're just telling him that if he's not willing to follow Canada's rules, he can't be a cop in Canada. Fucking sucks. Live with it. Yep. The Scottish Scandub. The sock knife. Winnipeg Police says it will develop policy to allow Sikhs to wear kirpan during application process. So they've already kowtowed to it. Yeah. Isn't that just too bad? Timu Snoop Dogg. Go back to India, be a police officer there? Yeah. Right? I know cool cops with turbans who are third-generation Canadian. Vancouver Chief of Police from a Sikh background. He's as Canadian as I am. Just checking. I'm not mad at brown Canadians with turbans. I'm mad at these fucking immigrants who barely speak English who want to change Canadian culture to fit their foreign beliefs. But this isn't even going to change culture. All he had to do, literally, was take it off, put it in the locker, sit down, write a test, go pick it back up, and fuck off. That was all he had to do. They didn't tell him he couldn't wear it on the job. They didn't tell him he couldn't wear it in an interview, an oral interview. They told him that during this exam, he wasn't allowed to have it. Yeah. But, you know, there's always people who want something other people, who want to change things other people have so that it matches what they want. For example, Keyless is showing off a black Woody doll from Toy Story. We took a lot of time to make sure all the details were right. Toy company Make It Brown says it turns toys black so the black community can feel represented and included.
Of Woody.
Yes, because, one second. Let me get an image of Woody from Toy Story. Woody, Toy Story. Images. Let's get a close-up. There we go. Oh, actually, I need to open that new link. Comic, that one. There we go. Okay. Go back there. Oops. What's going on now? Ah, okay. I see what I did. I tabbed when I should have escaped. Okay, so have a good look at this face. And let me escape out of there. There we go. And we'll put the other link here. So there's the other image. And I'll just scroll up a little touch. They didn't really change his features. They just changed the skin color and the texture of the hair. Not even the texture of the hair. That's blackwashing now, apparently. Don't make it actually look black, just give it a paint job. Cute. Well, that's awesome. I'm going to go and get a white Blade action figure. Well, oh, right. Yeah. Get your own Blazing Saddles doll. I'm with you, Adrian. That does, in fact, look like... oh, God, what was his name? Cleavon Little. It does look a lot more like Cleavon Little than it does Woody from Toy Story. Yeah. Mr. Reagan points out, this is 100% illegal. Disney and Nintendo would have both sued already had it been a white toy maker doing this. But they seem to be letting this slide. Black privilege is real. Yeah. Yeah. Don't these people complain about blackface usually? Yeah. I guess those child support checks from Nas must be running out. Oof. I guess her milkshake doesn't bring all the boys to the yard. Damn right. Pa, why don't they just make black toy characters instead of painting over white ones? Because they're lazy, low-life parasites, son, devoid of honor and dignity. Don't let me ever catch you acting that way. Based. Unfortunately, speaking of things that are extremely non-based... Oh, is this... I thought for just a moment this was Enoch Powell, but it's actually Martin Luther King action figure. I like it. I want one. Copy the link. Yeah, it's going from something that is based to something that is definitely not based. Let's talk about Aaron Gunn. Shocked today to watch Liberals and NDP vote against protecting the private property rights of Canadian homeowners. When a citizen pays their taxes, follows the law, maintains their property, and still cannot be certain that they own their own home, something has gone profoundly wrong. The majority of MPs vote down Conservative motion calling for private property protection. This is private property protection in land claim settlements. So, if, for example, you live on land that is disputed under some treaty with the First Nations, it is quite possible that, should they get the rights to that land, you would then be turfed out, with no compensation. Gee, sounds a little South African, doesn't it? What else would you expect in a country run by communists? Gun gnome. No Canadian owns their home, never did. The Crown still owns it forever. We just get to play pretend while paying taxes. That's true. You're technically just renting the land because you had to pay property tax. You don't really own the house because if at any point the government decides, hey, you can't live there anymore, we need to run a highway through it, or we need to take it for some building project, they will offer you money, but you don't actually have the ability to say no. Yeah, you'll own nothing and be happy. Canada's at a tipping point. These politicians can't fix the problems that keep piling up. Don't look to these people to solve anything. 51st state with property rights built into the Constitution. 51st state is too fast. 15th territory. Be a better solution. It immediately puts the ability for ICE to come in and remove our illegals. It immediately puts us under the military protection of the U.S. again. The suspension of the permanent Board of Defense, something of that nature, between Canada and the U.S. is a bit of an issue. Sorry to interrupt myself. I want to finish my coffee before it gets too cold. But, yeah, the 51st state thing sounds like a good idea until you actually look at what would happen. You would suddenly have a flood of Canadian Liberal voters. Yeah, we would... You think Toronto is bad now? Without gun rights? Yeah, not so much. We do not believe in private property, says Commandant Carney. Shocked last November to watch CBC HQ not defeat the budget. Yeah. What was the vote about? Yeah. The Conservatives introduced a non-binding motion demanding that the federal government take immediate action to prioritize fee-simple private property rights over Indigenous land claims. Yeah. Let's see. Stop imagining fake scenarios. Let's see here. Conservatives getting outraged about it, making stuff up, except they haven't. The fact that the NDP and Liberals work together to push Canada, and especially BC, further into economic uncertainty and or ruin does not surprise me. No, it's the point. They want you poor to the point that you can't afford to own anything. From Kev London K Media. Yep. I had to squint because I need my eyes checked. That's sometime next month I'll get that done. I might end up wearing glasses for these soon. Should every British soldier who serves over 5 years be guaranteed a council house, no questions asked? Absolutely. I think this is a great idea. I think if someone is a veteran, the government is obligated to take care of them. Here in Canada, they'd probably offer you maid rather than, say, put a ramp on your house if you're handicapped. Oh, wait. That's actually not a probability. That actually fucking happened. And I just realized I haven't talked about maid in a while. That's kind of nice. You know what else I haven't talked about in a while? Fucking hantavirus. I guess it was cured. It's funny how a pile of people saying we're not going to comply with your bullshit medical mandates anymore on social media seems to have gotten the point across better than any amount of, editorializing in newspapers. And just when you think government doesn't pay attention to social media. Yeah. Okay. What other comments do we have here? An enhancement of pension for every medal earned? No. The problem there is you'll have guys who will intentionally try to get injured to get, like, a Purple Heart, for example, to get a higher pension. No. You don't want to actually do that. Rank should be the thing that determines pension. If anything. Rank and time served. Dragon Rose Mystical Arts. Yes, they should. There are so many homeless veterans that the government should be ashamed. My husband and me helped to raise money for the Helping Homeless Veterans UK. They are a registered charity. Good for you. Think of the recruitment if they guaranteed that. If this government can afford to pay for housing and driving lessons and three-course meals for unvetted, unwanted, illegal immigrants, then our soldiers should get that at the very, very least. Also true. Okay, and I think this is the last story today. Yes, and it's from me, actually. Though I suspect now it may be a redundancy. Nope. Yeah, this is a bit weird. I'll pause this. What the absolute fuck is this bullshit? Grok, is it possible that, I did have to ask the AI, that the police in Canada can arrest you or detain you on the certification of a psychiatric professional who has never actually spoken to you, or has only spoken to you in a casual, non-clinical situation? This is a somewhat long and involved video here. I'll give you the brief rundown. This fella's pulled over, supposedly in talking to a psychiatrist at a cafe, and this is from the police officer's own mouth, a psychiatrist at a cafe certified him, which means that he is required to be assessed, even though he hasn't been. Like he says, he's never sat down and spoken to anyone. He's never been given an opportunity to. They do suggest at one point that they'll set up a meeting. And the police officer responds with, well, we don't believe you would actually attend a meeting. And he points out, I've never been given the opportunity to say no or to not attend one. So without any real justification, other than someone say so that he's non-compos mentis, he's apparently arrested, detained. The police officer does at one point ask him to turn off his video recording. He says no, which is your right, and don't ever fucking do that. And someone, actually I'll go to the post because I want to actually check that. Let's see here. Background, did he criticize the failed Canadian government? Apparently, yeah, there is some, not Canadian government criticism, some Chinese government criticism involved here. Let's see. Was it this one I responded to? No. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that meme. It used to be, first thing we do, kill all the lawyers. If you don't know who said that, it was fucking Shakespeare. So, yeah. Let's see here. Bottom line, video is genuine, shows exactly what the post claims. Yeah, there's a lot of people in this post, in this thread, saying, oh, this isn't real, blah, blah, fucking blah, blah, which immediately screams Chinese bots to me when I discovered that this guy was criticizing the Chinese government in Canada. So the video is genuine, shows exactly what the post claims. The location is Vancouver. Confirmed by Vancouver Coastal Health, CAR 87, and the Mental Health Act reference. No evidence of staging or deep fake. The event is a real mental health apprehension under existing Canadian provincial law. The framing, terrifying no rule of law, is opinion editorializing, but the factual description of the events is accurate. Here we go. Dr. Taylor saw you in a cafe. I think you filmed part of it. Sir, you're going to have to turn that off. Talking about the camera. So this guy's a threat because he wants to document the shady stuff going on in BC's health system. Yeah. When you realize that the only way this ends is when people start doing things you can't post about online. Yeah. Fed post not, my friends. Thou shalt not fed post. In any case, that is it for the recorded section today, so thank you all very much for being here. If you are watching in the future or currently, I deeply appreciate your time, and I would even more deeply appreciate your money. No one likes to work for free, as my friend Yiz says. If you would like to support me monetarily, you can go over to my Ko-Fi and fling me a few bucks. If you do so on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ. If you choose to support me monthly, but want to do so anonymously, you would be part of the Meringatang Gang. Also, you can support me without spending any money by chatting, commenting, sharing, following, subscribing, depending on platform. If you choose to send me money on Rumble, I'm obviously not going to say no. I won't be able to, because by the time you click send, I will have had nothing to do with the process. That said, Rumble does take a very significant cut of creators, of contributions to creators. I'm a small creator. I'm not making a lot of money out of this. Certainly not enough to, get better equipment. Let's put it this way. The amount of money I get, while I deeply appreciate it, and it is going into a savings account to improve things in the future, it's not exactly like I can buy even a gym membership with it. Yeah, not that there's a gym here. I'm in rural Newfoundland. Closest thing I have to a gym is my rowing machine over there, which is gathering dust, and I keep kicking myself in the nuts for it every time I look at it. Think about it, and remember it's there. Yeah. One of the problems I have is that I have to raise it slightly. I have to do a very deep squat to get onto it, and I have bad knees. Which you would think, hey, maybe you shouldn't be on a rower. Yeah, I need to strengthen my knees so they're not so bad, and the rowing is actually the lowest impact method to do that I found outside of swimming. There's no swimming pool here either. Actually, there is a swimming pool, but I don't think it's open yet. It's usually only open for a couple of months. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you're watching later on YouTube, hit me with a comment. Let me know. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye. Staring at that light hurts.